One of the interesting thing about your skeletal system that you might not have known previously is that your skeletal system is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. And so they think about every 5 years your skeletal system is replaced completely. And then there's parts of your skeletal system that are replaced more frequently. So for example, maybe the head of the femur would be replaced more frequently. The other interesting thing about your skeleton is that it really is use. You have to use it in order for it to become strong. And so your skeletal system responds to the demands that are placed upon it. So if you're bedridden, for example, or if you go to outer space and there is less gravity, then your bones are going to become weaker because of that. And so one imbalance of the bone, homeostatic imbalance of the bone, we already talked about, is an example of rickets. So rickets happens in children, and it is a lack of vitamin D. So vitamin D is necessary for calcium reabsorption. Or we'll put calcium absorption in the digestive tract. So we normally can get vitamin D by sunlight. So our light skin, if we are light skinned, we might get a lot of sunlight penetrating the skin and converting cholesterol into vitamin D. And then we can use that vitamin D for a variety of things, but one of the ways it's important is allowing us to absorb calcium from the foods that we take in. So in the past, this was a big problem. It's not so much a problem today because we have supplemented things with vitamin D. You can also get just vitamin D supplements and take them. But one thing that we have supplemented is our dairy products. So milk generally has vitamin D in it, so that when you're taking in the milk, that presence of that vitamin D will allow you to extract the calcium from the food. And so in the past, this has not been a problem. But what happened with this is that it causes the bones to be soft. And so rickets generally causes a softening of the matrix. It's not as mineralized. The matrix is normal besides that, but there's not enough minerals in it. And so this could lead to problems with the bones bowing out under weight. And so that is an example of a homeostatic imbalance. Another one is osteoporosis. And osteoporosis is where the osteoclasts break down the bone faster than the osteoblasts can build it. So you might hear of older people, specifically females, we'll talk about why, but older females going in for bone density tests. And they're like, oh, your bones aren't dense enough and you're at risk of having a broken bone. And when we break bones when we're older, we are really much less able to repair them. So if we look at it from a histological perspective, we can actually see this would be like the spongy bone. We can see that the spongy bone normally has lots of minerals in it and it is solid, so it's very dense. So this is very dense. And then we see that the bones have become porous, hence the osteoporosis, right? Pores in your bones. And this is going to be a bone that is going to be able to be broken very easily. And so even the bones in your vertebrae as you age can sometimes just break, and that could cause problems with posture even. Okay, so when we look at osteoporosis, it tends to be more of a problem for some reason, in women, and in women that have gone through menopause. And the reason for that is that they don't have estrogen, and estrogen helps with osteoblast activity. So, low estrogen after menopause can make it much more likely that you're going to get osteoporosis. And for some reason, it's more common in Caucasian females, older females, than in other races. So, this is one of the reasons why when you go to the gym, oftentimes you might see older people lifting weights, because if you lift weights and you do bone bearing or weight bearing exercises on your skeleton, then your skeleton is going to respond by making itself stronger. So that is those are two examples of homeostatic imbalances in the bone.